So this is the first message you're going to see on any load on your driver tech. Now I want to re-emphasize here that when you're looking at a message up on this screen, it's exactly the same as looking at your driver tech screen. Exactly the same. Word for word, box for box, it's the same thing. So the first message you're going to see on any new load is load summary. It's going to have the load number, the trailer number. It's going to tell you how many pickups and deliveries the load has, the shipper's name, the pickup date and time, shipper city, consignee city and state, loaded miles, the reefer set point, the product. Sometimes you'll see pieces, weight, pallets, sometimes you won't. And then you're going to see on the bottom here it says please send macro 7 to confirm this dispatch. Now you don't send macro 7 until you look at the entire load information. This first macro right here was simply the summary. This is what's called load detail. Immediately following the load summary, you're going to see the detail come in a separate message. It's going to give you the shipper. This is the same load, U.S. Cold, Turlock, phone number. Now you start to see details like bills of lading. There's your pickup date and time, pallets, 428 miles, temperature controlled, no touch freight, and all of these reference numbers. Okay? Reference numbers could be bills of lading, they could be POs. That's the customer's reference numbers. And then you're going to see stop to, the consignee, and all of the information for the consignee. So you got summary first, then detail next, and right after that, you're going to see a message that shows your fuel stops and your routing. Okay, so here's what your routing looks like. It's going to say fuel stop, route, and it's going to give you your load number. All it is the state, the highway, the number of miles. State, highway, number of miles. State, highway, number of miles. It'll just route you A to B for your load. Now, this is proprietary routing. This is the route we want you to follow. It's the route we require that you follow. There is a way that you can force the GPS. All the driver techs have a built-in GPS. Way that you can force the GPS to follow this routing. And you do that by putting in the fuel stops. You use the fuel stops as via points along your route. So this is the route. The fuel stops will come up here in just a second. Be able to look at those. Okay, that's what the fuel stops look like. It's going to give you the load number, the name of the fuel stop, the address, the exit, the highway, the exit, Oak Creek, Wisconsin, 52 gallons. Then the next one's 150/fill, 144/fill. The thing that you need to remember is anytime it says slash and fill, you're safe to fill up. Okay? We don't want you filling up in Oak Creek, Wisconsin because it's probably really expensive fuel. That's why we're telling you to only get 50 gallons. Anytime it says /fill, go ahead and fill up. If you realize that you could skip this Oak Creek, that's fine. Okay? Don't fill up in Oak Creek and then skip this one because this is cheap fuel, this is expensive fuel. So that's how the fueling works. And if you were to put in Oak Creek, Wisconsin, Williamsville, Illinois, and Amarillo, Texas in your driver tech as via points along your route to your receiver, that driver tech GPS would follow Pride's routing because these fueling stops follow Pride's routing. So we got our load summary, we got the load detail, we looked at the fueling, we looked at the routing. The next thing you're going to send off, after you see your load, you're going to see the load summary, the load detail. You're going to look at the fueling and the routing. Then you're going to send off your load confirmation. This is a load confirmation. This is the first macro you're going to send back to us after you see your new load. You're going to put your load number in here. I've been verbally dispatched. Verbal dispatch is for produce loads only, and tomorrow Dave Benson will talk about produce with you. These are the two that you need to answer. I can pick up on time, I can deliver on time. You send that back to us, and it changes your pre-plan on your truck from red to green so that everyone in operations knows that you've seen your next load and you're confirming at that moment that you can do your next load. Okay, this is the arrive at shipper. This is your first pickup. The shipper always indicates the very first pickup and only the first pickup. All you need to do is put your load number in, hit send, and that's going to show you on site at the shipper. Everyone's going to see where your truck is, they're going to know you're there and that you're loading. Keep in mind, every time you pick up or deliver freight, you're going to send two messages. There's going to be an arrival and then there's going to be a departure. This is the depart shipper. You're going to put in the load number, you're going to tell us what trailer you took into the facility, if you dropped that trailer, what trailer you took out, the seal number, if it's a sealed load, the bill of lading, pieces and weight, if that information is available to you, put it in there. The set point, that's what your reefer is set at. The actual temperature, what your bills say that load should be at, and what your load assignment says that load should be at. These four temperatures should all make sense with each other. If your bills say 55 degrees and your load assignment says 28, you need to send in a message and confirm what temperature they want it at. The bills and the load assignment should always make sense with each other. They may be off by a couple of degrees, but not by more than that. Then it's going to ask you, how is your reefer set? Is it on start-stop or continuous? The only things that are set in stone that are always continuous are produce and ice cream. Produce and ice cream are always on continuous. Pretty much everything else that is temperature controlled can be run on start-stop. If there's something other than produce or ice cream that they want you to run on continuous, it'll absolutely say that on your load information. Then it's asking you, is there any overshort or damage noted on your bills? Then it's asking you if you can make your next stop on time. Then it's asking you to set your PTA. Your PTA is automatically set for you at 2 hours after the delivery appointment of this load. If that's not accurate, there are several places to change it. If you leave this blank, that is confirming that your PTA is okay at 2 hours after your delivery appointment and that you're okay to reload 2 hours after you deliver this load. This is the daily check call macro. You're going to put your load number in, driver. If you're part of a team, you'd either put 1 or 2. Obviously, solo, you're just going to put 1. Trailer number, seal number, if that's available to you, or if the load's sealed. You're going to put in your set point. This is the reefer set temperature, the actual temperature of the reefer, what your bills say, what your load assignment says. Make sure you're filling in all of these. This will just prompt a question from your fleet manager if you don't put them all in. Reefer set, how's it set? Is it on start, stop, or continuous? You're going to put a yes in one of those boxes. You're going to answer, can you make your next stop on time? And then again, the PTA, or projected time of availability. If you leave these boxes blank, it's just going to assume that you're fine to reload 2 hours after your unload. It's also going to automatically import your odometer reading into this macro. This macro needs to be sent in between midnight and 10 a.m. every day that you're under a load. Okay, this is the arrive at stop macro. Every time you pick up or deliver freight, you're going to have two macros, an arrival and a departure. The first pickup is called the shipper, so you'll have arrive at shipper, depart shipper. The last delivery is called the consignee, so you'll have arrive at consignee and then empty call. Anything in between the shipper and the consignee, whether it's a pickup or a delivery, meaning a multi-stop load, you're going to use arrive and depart stop. So arrive at stop, all you need to do is put in the load number and what stop number you're on. On this load, we're going to pretend that we needed to get a lumper. The load is multiple pallets and the receiver says, hey, it's going to cost you some money for us to unload it. So in that case, you're going to send macro 40, which is the advance PO request, asking for some money to get the job done in the form of a com check and a PO to cover that com check. So in this example, I need an advance code and a PO. Driver put in a yes for that. Load number, driver code, the amount requested, $234. And then in this column here, you're going to put the reason. In this case, it's a lumper. So the driver needs $234 to pay for a lumper, and he's asking for a com check and a PO. This is what the express code looks like. When it says wire code, that means, hey, you just requested a com check. Here's the money. Wire code means com check. It's going to tell you the load number you requested it on, and then this big long 16 to 20 digit code is going to be the express code, and that goes in the middle white box on the left-hand side of the com check. This check number here doesn't mean anything. Don't pay attention to it. Don't write it down. It's just a numeric sequence that's applied to every check to keep track of them, and then, of course, just verify the amount. And then immediately following that message, you're going to see this extra pay message. Extra pay means here's your PO. It's going to tell you the code that you requested, the description of that code, the amount, and then the PO number. You take your trip envelope, in the top section, you write the date, then you write the word lumper, you put the amount, and then you write this PO number on there. The detention macro needs to be sent at an hour to an hour and a half. Even if they tell you that you're going to be unloaded in the next 10 minutes, if you've been there for an hour to an hour and a half, send this in. Because if you don't send it in, you won't get paid detention. Because our detention manager won't know that you are looking to get paid detention, and she won't alert the customer that our truck's still sitting there. The whole idea behind this detention macro is to actually get the truck out. We would much rather have you moving than have to go through collecting money from customers. But we'll do it if we need to. This is what the departed stop looks like. It looks a lot like the departed shipper. Load number, stop number, weight, pieces, pallets, seal, temperatures, how's your reefer set, did you have any over, short, or damage, can you make your next stop on time, and then confirm your PTA down here. Again, if you leave this blank, you're telling us that you're okay to reload 2 hours after this load delivers. Okay, this is the arrive at consignee macro, pretty simple. Just put your load number there in the load number space and hit send. It'll show you on site at the consignee. Okay, so here's the empty call macro that I promised. Load number, what trailer did you take in? Did you drop the trailer? What trailer did you take out? It's going to automatically put in your odometer reading in there, and you're going to tell us the fuel level based on this legend right here. A is an eighth, B is a quarter, C is 3/8, so on and so forth. Just put the letter that corresponds to the amount of fuel you have. Pallets in and out, don't worry about that. Pride's not a pallet exchange carrier. We don't deal with pallets at all. Did you get your bills of lading signed? Yes or no? What was the set point when you delivered? What was the actual temp? How was your reefer set when you delivered? And again, a place to confirm your PTA. And then at the bottom here it asks you, was there any over shortage or damage noted on your bills? All right, there's another macro that I wanted to show you that's extremely important. It's the home time macro. Home time macro needs to be filled out Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Please don't fill this out on the weekend or at night, because our dedicated home time person, Derek Carsno, will not be here to receive this if you send it in at night or on the weekend. Has the requested time off, Monday through Friday, 14 days prior, your start date, your return date. We're asking if your dates are flexible, yes or no, and then the city requested. Turn that in at least 14 days prior to your home time starting. Again, it needs to be turned in Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. That doesn't mean that that's the only time you can take time off.